But what we need to talk to Merce about now is what happened at the Emirates today.
Once again, Arsenal are left feeling betrayed by a system that was supposed to protect the integrity of the game. Another high-profile match, another pivotal moment, and yet again VAR finds a way to place itself above common sense. This time, the controversy came in the most painful of settings against bitter rivals Tottenham Hotspur, as an offside goal was astonishingly allowed to stand. From the moment the ball was played through, the reaction on the pitch told its own story. Arsenal defenders immediately raised their arms. The back line hesitated, convinced the flag would follow. In the stands, the initial roar was mixed with confusion, the kind that only comes when fans expect an obvious infringement to be punished. Television replays quickly reinforced that belief. The Tottenham attacker appeared clearly ahead of the last defender at the moment the pass was released, with multiple angles suggesting a textbook offside. Yet VAR intervened and somehow made things worse. After a brief and suspiciously swift check, the goal was awarded. No detailed breakdown. No carefully drawn lines displayed for supporters. No explanation that matched what millions were seeing on their screens. Just a cold confirmation that the goal stood, leaving Arsenal players frozen in disbelief and supporters raging. VAR was introduced to eliminate clear and obvious errors. Instead, it has become a tool that often amplifies them. This decision was not one of those infamous millimeter calls that split opinion. It was not a case of attackers and defenders being perfectly aligned. It was a situation where body position, particularly the shoulder and knee, appeared plainly beyond the defensive line. Under the laws of the game, any part of the body that can legally score being ahead of the defender constitutes offside. By that definition, the decision should have been straightforward. Instead, Arsenal were punished for trusting the laws of football. The damage didn't stop at the scoreboard. The goal instantly shifted the momentum of the match. Arsenal, who had been composed and tactically disciplined, were forced to abandon their game plan. The psychological impact was obvious. Frustration crept in, tempo changed, and emotional control was tested. In games of this magnitude, especially derbies loaded with history and hostility, a single officiating error can define the entire outcome. What makes this incident even more infuriating is the growing sense that it isn't isolated. Arsenal supporters can reel off a long list of VAR controversies from recent seasons: penalties ignored, goals disallowed for microscopic fouls, red cards given or not given with alarming inconsistency. This latest offside decision feels less like bad luck and more like part of a disturbing pattern. Trust is the real casualty here. Fans are told to respect officials, to accept decisions as part of the game. But respect is built on consistency and transparency, and VAR continues to provide neither. When supporters in the stadium aren't shown the evidence, when broadcasters move on without scrutiny, and when referees face no visible accountability, frustration inevitably turns into anger. Social media exploded within minutes of the decision. Freeze frames, screenshots, and side-by-side comparisons flooded timelines. Even neutral observers struggled to justify the call. Former players and pundits danced around the issue, careful not to say too much, yet their hesitation spoke volumes. Everyone could see the problem, few felt empowered to call it out directly. Tottenham, of course, will argue that decisions balance out over a season. That argument might hold weight if injustice was evenly distributed. But for Arsenal fans, it feels like the same wounds are reopened week after week. When crucial points are lost not because of poor defending or missed chances, but because of baffling officiating, the sense of injustice becomes unbearable. The lack of communication only deepens the anger. Why was the goal given? Which frame was used? Which body part was deemed onside? These are basic questions, Yet answers are rarely provided in real time. VAR operates behind a curtain, issuing verdicts without explanation, demanding acceptance without earning it. Football thrives on emotion, rivalry, and debate, but it also relies on credibility. When supporters begin to feel results are manipulated by incompetence or inconsistency, the very foundation of the sport is shaken. VAR was supposed to bring clarity. Instead, it has introduced a new layer of controversy that feels impossible to challenge. For Arsenal, this was more than just a bad call in a derby. It was another reminder that even when they do things right on the pitch, they are never fully in control of their fate. The players must regroup. The manager must remain diplomatic. The club must move on. But supporters are left carrying the anger, the screenshots, and the lingering question marks. How can a system with access to multiple cameras, slow motion, and trained officials fail to spot a clear offside until VAR is held to the same standards it imposes on players, until decisions are explained, officials are accountable, and transparency becomes mandatory? Incidents like this will continue to poison the game. And Arsenal, once again, are left feeling robbed, not by their rivals, but by the very technology designed to protect fairness. The scars of this decision will linger long after the final whistle. Not because Arsenal lost a goal, but because football lost credibility again.